In part 8 of the Serialized Content Framework, created by Caspian Studios, we're talking about how content shapes community and vice versa. Content and community are very connected. I view content as a one-way street. You are pushing to your audience, whereas community is a two-way street where the community is able to both push content and sort of pull that content from you. And it's really important to have this sort of relationship because your job with content is to push the community, to spark conversation, to make them laugh, to help them find a hard solution to a hard problem, to get them out of their comfort zone, to prepare them for next fiscal, to consolidate ideas. Like your job is to push the community and to create information that they want to consume. And community is a really tough thing to build, right? And what I think of this like total addressable community, every single person that would be possible for your community is something that you'll never own that. You'll never be able to control the entire thing, but you will be able to control certain pieces of that community. And so I call those like minimum viable communities, whereas you can kind of niche down and find those minimum viable communities based off of the personas, levels of seniority, or industry. So for example, if you're looking at sales, marketing, and finance, you could be looking at VP, director, and manager, and then retail, financial, and tech. So you could zoom into, say, the director of sales of a retail organization or the CFO of a financial organization. Like those are the sort of things that you can sort of find a much smaller persona and find a much smaller community that you can have a really big impact on. And with your communities, you have the ones that you own, your customers, your users, your customer advisory board, your audiences, like your podcast audience. Those are your communities. But you don't manage like trade orgs or private Slack groups or Discord channels or other events or things like that. And so you want to be able to control what you can control and then influence what you can't control. And so it's really important to try to focus on these minimum viable communities, be able to create content that pushes those communities forward and that is really targeted for them. What you don't want to do is create content that is super broad, that's not tactical, that's not interesting, that is sort of just like, saying nothing, right? It's just the type of content that is just sitting there on the plate and nobody wants to eat it, right? It's the parsley. And so you want to create rich, interesting, dynamic content specifically tailored to those unique personas and creating those little minimum viable communities.